Alright, so I have a mystery unboxing here. A subscriber sent me a reel. I don't know if it's a BFS reel. I don't know what. All I know it's a reel. Bait casting, I'm assuming. Here I have the SS Air and also the Alphas SV as size comparison because I don't know what's in there. Yeah, let's dig it open. It's going to be as much surprise to me as it is to you guys. Kind of assuming it's a BFS reel, but not sure. Yeah, it's if it's a bigger reel, like a round reel, something like that, I do have an Antares, and I also have the Zillion TWS that I could review as well. Oh, that's cute. What is that thing? There's some sort of gift here. Oh, I see. That was the gift that came with it. It's a Daiwa, as you can see. I already peeked at what it is from when I just unboxed it. I was actually kind of intrigued by this reel too. Yeah, this is actually a really nice. I don't know how I could just let this sit at my house and like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna send it to Hobie-Wan Kenobi before I even open it up. But that's what it is right there. It's the SV Lite. It's based off the SS Air frame, which is kind of funny that I picked this reel. Or just the Steez frame in general. Then it has SV spool. Yeah, it's actually very kind of funny. Instruction manual. I don't know if you guys ever ordered reels from Japan, but they're gonna be all Japanese, and they have some decent pictures in there to kind of help you work through it. But mostly it's going to say don't cast with your handle facing up, down, don't remember. Don't use your reel as a hook keeper, and that's about it. Looks like it comes with one of the Daiwa reel covers, kind of like the Steez ones. If you ever use like a Steez SVTW, or I think the standard Steez came with it too. But it's the same type of neoprene reel cover. Yeah, that feels just like the SS Air SS SV, except for it has kind of like a matte finish, so it's a little bit grippier. Looks like an 80mm handle on there. The same bass or die stuff that was on the Steez SV Limited, the red and black one. It has the grippy knobs just like the Steez SVTW, or kind of like the Aldebaran, the 15 Aldebaran knobs. It's very similar to those grippy knobs. Clicking Zion Dragstar. I did a little bit of research on this reel, so I'm just most of this I'm kind of pulling out of my rear end. But yeah, it feels just the same. It's very familiar. It feels light too. I imagine it's probably 5.3 ounces. Really smooth too. And sometimes reels from Japan, they come a little bit dry, but this feels really good. Yeah, that's. It might even be a little bit lighter than this SS Air, because I have a different handle on here. That's not the stock handle on there. The SV spool is definitely, it's more shallow. I'll take that out at a different angle to show, but it's just between like the air reels, or like those DIY spools, if you guys ever use those, and a standard like the shallow SV spool that would come in like the 105 size. So if you have the SV 105, kind of between those two sizes, which is perfect if you're using like 12-pound fluorocarbon. I was actually considering getting this reel, or at least considering it pretty heavily. And I use 12-pound fluorocarbon for Texas rigs, and I thought this would be the perfect size spool. And something else I'm going to do, just because I have this spool here, I'm going to see the spool compatibility between your standard 10/16 size, so like a T3, the Steez SVTW, and the SV103, just to see if this spool is compatible. So just in case you guys want to just buy the spool, I know like plat.co.jp or just plat. That's what a lot of people call it. They sell individual parts. So here's a little bit of a close-up here on the side. It looks pretty sweet. I thought it would look a little bit more generic, just kind of looking at the pictures, made in Japan. It does come greased on the worm gear at least, and it feels greased on the, yeah, the bearings are probably greased. Because I got a Steve's SVTW once, and it was really dry. Like I was casting it, I like to cast stuff stock if I can at first, and it was just very underwhelming. And then I just put a little bit of drop of oil in there, and it was golden. Oh, it also has the zero adjuster knob as well. I just noticed that. That's on the Steve's SVTW as well. You can still move it. It's just a little bit harder, so you're not accidentally hitting it. And how I set mine is just like a little bit of side-to-side play, which exactly how this is. And then I just used a magnetic knob for everything else. And it's not the recess style that's on the Steve's or like the T3, but that doesn't get in the way of me. I know I can already talk about how this reel palms because it's based on the same frame. It does palm very well, and it feels, for some reason, it makes you feel your combo feel lighter. I don't know if it's because the nose is up a little bit higher and it's better leverage or whatever it is, but it does always feel really nice. Okay, so here's an aerial shot of it right here. Like I said, smooth. You can't even really hear that at all. But this is what I was talking about right here. Ooh, I just missed that, yeah. That's the SV light spool. Like I said, it's kind of in between the air reels and then the shallow SV spools. My biggest curiosity right now is if this spool fits in like those 10-16 reels like I was talking about. But when I was looking at it between shots, I did see that the side plate's a little different. See the cutout right here versus this is the SS Air. I don't know what the SSSV looks like. I never had one. But it's a little bit different. That's pretty much the only frame-wise the only difference I've seen. I don't know. I have the box right here. It has some stats on there if you want to look at that. If you can't read it, if you can't get focused or whatever, it's holds 40 to 80 meters of an 8-pound line, 30 to 65 meters of 10-pound line, and 16-pound line, 20 to 40 meters. So that's perfect. It has 11 bearings and 1 anti-reverse bearing, so it's 12 total. It's advertised at 153 grams. It has the 8.1-to-1 gear ratio in this one too. And that's bringing in 81 centimeters per turn, which I don't know what the math is, but it's probably low 30s, I imagine, for inches per turn. I set clicking Zion drag star, like the standard Zion drag star that a lot of Daiwa reels have. Yeah, the zero turn spool tensioner, you can still turn it. It's just so you don't knock it and stuff. There's a little bit better, and I'm not a fan of black and red much, but the silver kind of adds to it. Black and red's kind of overdone, but the silver adds a nice touch. But let's see what the come on. See what kind of bearings it comes with for the spool, and also if it fits into a different. There's a little bit of grease in there. I mean, I imagine performance might be increased by flushing that out. But it has to see this ring here, right here. That's also is on the air spools. Like they use like a very similar side plate, but then they do that. So this might not actually fit. Just guessing off of that. Move that out of the way. The inductor spring doesn't feel super light like an air inductor. It is a little bit lighter though. Has the upgraded block in there. I don't know if you can see that white block in there. But that's the upgraded one. Shielded bearing. So I don't know what the bearing size is. It's probably like 1030, 1030. But let's see if this fits into a different 1016 reel. This is a T3 that I painted up for BFS, just spray painted. I think I did use primer. I don't know. I know it wasn't a, definitely was not a professional job. I don't want to force it in there. It's a little difficult right now, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it. Let me see if I'm doing something wrong here. No. Well, oh yeah, because I painted this. That's why it's a little tight. Okay. It goes in. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's. I might have to adjust my tension knob and. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap there, as you can see. A little bit of a gap. So this is not going to be compatible with like the Steez SV, TW, T3, the SV103, all those types of reels. I'll try one last thing just to double check. I'll put this spool I had in that T3 into here to see if it fits. I think that's too big. I'm pretty sure it's going to be too big. Yeah, if I take that ring off, I don't think it's going to make a difference on the other end. Yeah, it's on the frame side, it's a little too big, I think. Okay, Garmin, stop recording. Alright, so testing out spool compatibility without wasting a whole bunch of your time. This spool that comes in the in this SV Lite LTD, this SV Lite spool does not fit into the Alphas SV SV105 line. There's a little bit of a gap there. It does, however, fit into the Air line of Daiwa reels, such as the SS Air, the Alphas Air, T3 Air. So that could be a good upgrade if you want a kind of more all-around reel, especially say the T3 Air. I really like that reel. That comes in 8.6 gear ratio. It's super smooth, all that kind of good stuff. Just pop one of these bad boys in there, and you got a little bit more versatile reel. As you can see here, it's just a direct, just drop in. This is the SS Air. It's a, well, let's grab the correct side plate. Yeah, without screwing that in all the way. I mean, there's no gap. There's no weird gap in there at all. It's direct fit. It will not fit into the T3 that I tried. It's too much of a gap there. Your line would get caught in there. With the SV105, there's a very slight gap, and it could be doable if you're using a little bit thicker line. I mean, if you're running like 8-pound line, I don't think it would be that great to do. But yeah, I think it's kind of nice, especially because it's safe for me. I have a SS Air, so if I just want to buy this spool, this spool will probably be like between 90 and 100 bucks, I think. I'd imagine. I'm not sure. But it's made out of G1, so it might be a little bit more, like the Steez SV spool range. But yeah, it's definitely, it's a nice reel. It's made out of Zion. You can feel it, but not in a bad way. It still feels pretty solid. I mean, I haven't taken on the water or anything like that, but I know my SS Air that I have, that's always felt solid. I remember running like 8-pound line on that when I had my other one. Didn't feel any flex in the frame, any of that stuff. Well, some people say only time I ever felt flex in a frame is when I was punching with the T3 ballistic, and that's definitely not in that reel's capabilities, I can tell you that. But now we'll get some shots of it on the scale. It's advertised at 153 grams, which is probably about 5.3 ounces. I'm not sure. I'll do that and then get some good close-up shots for you guys, some cosmetic shots, and then there will be a casting video too. It's not going to be super in depth. It's going to be pretty short, because I know my last casting one I did with the Tutulo is pretty long, a lot longer than it had to be. As you can see, the scale zeroed out. Advertised weight of 153 as far as grams. Look at that, on the money, 153 grams. Let me try it again. Yep, 153 grams. So, yeah, it's a pretty sweet reel. It's solid. There's like no handle play at all, in or backwards at all. Yeah, it stops right where you want it to. It's super smooth. I'll take it apart to, just grease it up. I'm not gonna make a video of that. It's gonna be pretty. I'll tell you guys if it's brass or aluminum gears. I imagine it's aluminum, coming in at 5.3 ounces or 153 grams, whatever that equates to. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Comment below any of your questions that you want me to answer in the next video. I can definitely do that. Mainly be casting. I'll mount that onto an NRX because I have the Steez SVTW on a Conquest, and they're both very similar reel seats, so you can kind of see the size difference and palming and stuff like that. So subscribe, comment, like, share, all that kind of good stuff. And don't forget, there's a 200 subscriber giveaway still. That box has been collecting dust. I thought I'd get subscribers a little bit faster than I have been, so don't forget to subscribe.